All right, the next thing that we're going to do, guys, because right now we're going to transition from the midterm to what's going to be in preparation for the final. Okay, so the way I'm kind of breaking this semester up is the midterm is like schematic design development. So it's like simple plans, simple RCPs and stuff like that, and simple like colorful elevations. The next step is to create something that's a little bit more detailed. And with that slightly higher level of detail, we're going to create like a partial DD set where we're starting to look at some of the details of the building, and most importantly, we're going to start off with wall sections. So I mentioned a little bit about wall sections before, but first I want to preference like view control. Okay, you guys recall when I had you make a working view, correct? No, did I do that when everybody? Did I do that on Thursday? I think I did it on Thursday. Anyway, there's a purpose, I'll recap, but there's a purpose for a working view versus the view that goes on your sheet, okay? And I mentioned that I named them very appropriately. So what you're seeing over here on the left where it says working first floor plan, that's my working view. It's where I do all of my construction lines, stuff like this, right? Like where I'm just aligning things and using these like, extra dimensions that don't really belong on the actual final set. I can draw things, I can drop in like hidden families and stuff, symbols and everything like that. Okay, so working view is where you want to put your live section views. Okay, and I say live section views because you can create wall sections and you can create duplicates of wall sections. Okay, and they don't have to be a live view. Okay, let's talk about what a live view means. So right now, this wall and this wall are the same construction. Okay, and I'm going to go a little overboard. You wouldn't typically need to show a wall section in both adjacent walls if they're of the same construction. But I'm going to use it as an example to show you what live views and duplicate views are. So I'm going to create a wall section under View, Section, and I'm going to pull this across like that. Okay, so notice how when I have this view tag selected, it has the dash line with the grips and everything like that. So when you're creating these, they are live views. If you right click it, you go to View, you have the ability to kind of adjust the view extents, and all that. You can see more of the building if you want or less. But this view is something that I can actually draw on. So when you do this, a wall section is generally going to be a little bit bigger scale, maybe like 3/4 of an inch. Go to Find. Okay, so that's the structure of my building right there. So that is a view that will always be referenced on this plan. Okay, it also happens to show up on my first floor plan, not that one actually. It'll show up on this first floor plan. Okay, because I turned it off on my schematic floor plan. This one's going to be my construction documents floor plan. So it shows up here. The other thing that I have at my disposal is a similar or fake or reference view tag. So I can go to View. Actually, you know what? Let me do something real quick. I'm just going to create a quick wall section sheet so that you can see when it's placed on a sheet how the numbering system works. So let's see. Go to Sections. I'm going to put Section 4 on there. Okay, there's my view. It's on a sheet. So when I go back to my floor plan, it says 1A502. But I know that this wall construction is exactly the same as the wall construction on the north side. So I go up to Section, and I click this little checkbox for Reference Other View. And what that does is it opens up a list of all the other views that I have in the project. And I can reference them per whatever view type it is. So if I'm doing a section, right here it's going to show me all my section types. So Section 4, 1A502, is the same construction. And it comes up with that little sim tag. Okay, so now you don't see the dotted line with the grips. That's how you know that this is a reference section. Does that make sense? So we've got reference sections without the grips and dotted line, and we have live sections that have grips and dotted lines. Now, it's important to note that this reference section won't show up in your working floor plan. Does that make sense?
Yes, Kevin.
Okay. So this is where what I was saying about having a working floor plan is so critical, because when I have these live views and they start showing up in floor plan, like some of them show up live in the first floor plan, some of them show up live in the roof plan, because wherever it was originally drawn is the only view that it's the live view in. So if you control your file and you keep all of your live views isolated to your particular floor plan, your working floor plans, you'll always know where to go to find it if you should need to modify it. Does that make sense? Okay, I'll bring in, I keep meaning to bring in like my file from work to show you this, but it is a real pervasive problem, and you will run into it as you're working through these files. So make sure that you're utilizing working views for your live views. And that applies to elevations, sections, building sections, any type of view that you can create. Any questions? Okay, so we're going to move on to showing you how to kind of detail some of that, that element.